Alrighty, guys. For those of you guys who are tuning in, and if you're watching the repost of it from YouTube or whatever, um, for those of you guys who don't know, I am Zuki M1. We are joined today with a couple other DigiTubers and some players from the Digimon community. We're going to be discussing some hot topics within the Digimon community right now. And join with me today, we have Phantom Blur, we
Hi,
have
how are you?
Mr. J Strategy Plays, and we have Taste of Victory.
Hello.
Well,
Oh man, he even bust out the
I thought-
that's his background that he used in all his videos, by the way. This is mine too. I don't got a green screen. I should get a green screen, but you know, it is what it is.
Could just be faceless like Taste over here.
yeah, I don't even have anything to show. There's no
I mean,
background
they're used to the Galgamon. That's what the chef had. That's good enough. You know?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
these are
Gargomon.
Yeah, how do you get that thing to like move around? Did you commission someone to like make different poses for that, by the way?
Yeah, I had a friend. Knew my wife is an artist. She was a friend who did a couple of frames, and then I just put it into like a little program that works with OBS.
Oh, that's pretty hot. That's pretty hot. Over there on the VTuber status, the only thing you need now is just make a Gargomon model.
Yeah, I need to go 3D. I want to do that sometime.
Oh, that bro, you should definitely do that. Make like a Gargomon VTuber model, and then
Or
just
something,
yeah, that'd be hot. That'd be hot.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Alrighty. So for the first question I have for you guys this evening, what are you guys' thoughts on the box for BT19, BT20, or special set 2.5?
I guess I go first on this one. From a player perspective, I have very mixed opinions about it. Where I both really love it, but at the same time, I feel really about it, just because as from a personal standpoint of how I feel about certain cards, how I feel like where the game is going. I guess like I'll go with the first positive one, like a quick point. I think in terms of giving card support with this like 3-part set, I guess, or like technically 1 or 2. I think it's very smart on giving a lot of old strategies new support, where it's like kind of revamping it, kind of giving a reason like, oh, I have these old decks, I can finally pick it up again. Or my famous one, Gallimon is good again, where it's like, oh,
it's good for the first time ever.
For the first time, that was gonna say.
it can finally break,
That's crazy.
it can finally break the meme of like, oh, just one more support. Oh no, we had one card, we'd be good. Oh, one more support. So it's like, all right, finally, it's like you can do something consistently now.
Yeah.
But my negative is because it's a combined set. I think the ratios are just really, really suckish. Where for a lot of just previous sets, you can kind of pull what you want with boxes, get a hold of everything. But because like there's so much in this set, with like 1 or 2 boxes, you don't know what you're gonna get. You can like pop off and get everything you need, or get lucky and get like one of, because there's so much of it. But that's all I'll say for now. If I don't want to pass the baton to anyone else.
Okay. I guess I'll go. In terms of my personal opinion, I'm fairly excited about the cards themselves. I definitely agree with you in terms of like the ratio aspect, though. I'm not a big fan of them combining sets together, because you just can pull whatever, right? Like it's just the wild west in terms of pulling. So like, if you are more on the I like to buy a box or two and try to see what I can pull type of thing, you might have a better luck of pulling from a solo box. But a combined box, I don't know, you gambling, like even more so than usual, in my personal opinion. But in terms of the cards, I'm like really excited about like a lot of the strategies that they got coming out. There was actually a pretty funny post that I saw the other day where they basically showed EX3 and all the decks that had came out then, and then they showed us like a post of like BT20 and all the sets that's coming out for that one, and it basically just copy and paste from EX3. The red purple Imperial is meta now. They're topping in Japan and stuff like that. The Examon is also getting results, and that was also from EX3. And I forget what the third deck was. Oh, It was Dragon Links, and they just got new support with the new Hina that they printed. It's a promo. So a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. Not really sure what's going to happen. I do like the fact that this is going to be the first time ever in Digimon where we're not going to be looking towards the east for inspiration for decks, because most of that stuff is hitting roughly around the same time. So it's going to be the Wild West in terms of deck theory, right? Just testing out a bunch of different strategies, trying to make things work, and things to that nature. So that part of the game, I'm definitely excited for. I really love theory crafting, coming up with new strategies, trying to make stuff work that shouldn't work, and things of that nature. So that's what I'm looking for with the new set.
I can go next if Tasty lets me.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
For BT19, I was in the Ultimate Cup yesterday, and I took a fun deck. I took Deep Savers, and let me tell you, my first experience in the Ultimate Cup, I was so pissed by the end, because all I faced was like Gallant, Mirage, Purple Hybrid. I was so upset. I was like, you know what? I'm starting my villain arc. So
you know what? At least you got like variety going there, though, instead of like the same deck over and over again.
I mean, it's all meta, right? At the end of the day,
but that's all meta. It's
all meta. Bro. But like,
hey, man.
I legit
and that was your 1, 2, 3 round.
That
like
was
the first round, second
Purple
round,
Hybrid
round?
Gallant. Yeah, and then
your mic cut out.
Purple Hybrid.
Your mic cut out.
Hello. You still hear me?
Hold on. Can you hear us, or?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Your mic cut out. We can't hear you.
Hello.
Hop out and then come back in.
Wait, hold on. I think I know what it is. Give me a second.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
All right,
Yeah.
I guess repeat what you said last like 10 seconds.
Okay, so I played Purple Hybrid, round 1, lost 0-2. Gallant, same thing, got 2-0'd. Then 7th grade Demon Lords, like I actually took a game off that, but I'm playing Aegis-Dramon, so that makes sense. But yeah.
Well, I feel like the Deep Sabers is actually a lot better, but we still need some stuff that's in BT19.
That's not even Deep Saber support, you know, that's the problem. It's like you have Aquatic, the Seedramon stuff, but it's not DS. So it's still like half an archetype. It's not like full support. But either way, like yesterday I bought my Sakuyamon, the Kazuhamon alt arts, and I bought an extra ruin mode because I'm going all in. I'm gonna make the loop.
You know what? I can respect that. It's like you just get your butt kicked so much. I'm like, all right, no more.
That's it,
no
man.
more.
Yeah. I respect it.
I've had enough of this.
What about you, Taste?
That's crazy. No, yeah, I think this set's really cool. I have not played anything for the new cards yet. I haven't been playing much of 2.0 or 2.5. I'm just waiting for it all to come out and see what reprints we end up getting. Especially once Protoform finally gets a reprint, because I saw it getting one in Japan recently. So I'm waiting for that to hit over here before I start playing more meta decks. But I like this.
I have a question. Sorry. When was the last time? What was the last set you kind of actively been heavy on in this game?
I don't remember. It's been a minute now. I think it was 14. Whichever one where aces were introduced.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was 14.
It's been a minute. It's been a solid minute. I think it was 14. That was the last one. I just been keeping up with the card reveals and stuff like that. I haven't been doing as much otherwise. But the set looks cool. I like that it's introducing new support to old decks. Because I remember when Examon was getting revealed, everyone was like, what's an Examon support coming out of nowhere for? Why is that in the set? And it's been doing good with it, so that's pretty cool. I like that stuff. But I think you guys are all making a really good point that it's it's a big set. This is the same thing that happened with 1.0 and 1.5. Omnimon, it was a super rare. People were trying to charge $80 for that thing because it's in this giant set with more than usual things, so it is a little harder to pull and stuff. So that's
a $200 card when the game first came out.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was crazy to get a playset of it. It was $200. Yeah, and thankfully that tanked. It's pennies now that we actually have stock. But yeah, that's always gonna be an issue with these. I'm fine with it. I think it's just a pain you got to get through real quick so we could get to unification. I'll put up with it for a set or two to get same time release. I think it's cool.
I think that was really just my biggest annoyance. Is we all saw this coming because with the merger happening, and then once. Because we already knew the first set. I was like, all right, after 17, it's gonna be 18 plus half of 19. It's gonna be all wonky. So it's we don't get the full 19 aspect And then February is like, all right, cool, you get rid of 19. Then you get a whole new aspect with 20. And I'm like, all right, cool. Is 19 even like worth it? So if you were a fan of like waiting on those certain cards, you were kind of like,
Damn.
I don't know if I swear, like really out of luck.
That's a really good point to bring up too, actually, because 19 was kind of gutted the way it was. It kind of feels like it didn't really have any real impact on the game because it was split up, for us at least, between 18 and 20. So it feels a little like it got robbed a little bit in terms of its spotlight and the line life of Digimon.
Interesting. See, I kind of almost have like the opposite moment, because if you look at the cards for the Queen Bee archetype or whatever it's called, the Royal Base, that's what it's called. If you look at it, they're like BT 18, no, they're like BT 19 and BT 20 or whatever. So like they were going to be split up, but now that we have the set, they tossed it all into 2.0 for us. So I was like, oh sweet, I can just play this deck right now.
Yeah.
So I have that picked up, and I've just been like playing casually, but I don't have the proto form, so I can't really do anything with it competitively.
Hey, no, that's also a good point too. You don't have to wait as long as Japan had to get the support that you was looking for as well. Because like me personally, my pet deck is Justimon, right? And I try to find ways to make that deck as optimal as humanly possible. Boy, Bandai does a real hard job of making that real possible. But the point being is like I try to find ways to make it work, and it's nice to have all the support right here in front of me, so that way I can just figure out, okay, let me try this, let me put this in there, let me put that in there. So yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from with that one. Alrighty, so the next question that I got for you guys is and we kind of just touched on it a little bit, but what are future decks that you want to build, or any cool new mechanics that you guys think could be introduced into the game? So currently right now, I think we got like 21 or 23 keywords in the game. Personally, I think one of the effects that they keep printing that doesn't actually have a keyword should be a keyword, and that's taunt. Right? Like there's a lot of cards that already have it as an ability, like
Examon, like the old one.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like Slayer German has it. The Edamon has it. There's an option card that taunts your opponent during the start of their main phase and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why it's not a keyword yet. I think that should definitely be a thing. Yeah, that's the mechanic that I would want them to introduce. Mm-hmm. And then future decks, I got a few. But the one that's at the top of my list is definitely Examon. I was a huge Examon player when it first came out. It fits my playstyle 100%. Actually, my Examon went to the next level because of this guy right over here. He told me to put in some Taikumis into my deck to help improve the consistency of the deck. And boy, that shit was working. I was like, wait, this is actually insanely good. Draw 2 for every Digivolution, and then also like slow down any of that rookie rush. So before you get to your 5s, you can pretty much slow the game down and just make it into a setup game. And by that point, you're going to start winning, because then you're going to start forcing them to start swinging with their stacks that they didn't want to give up just yet. So, yeah, I'm super excited for Examon, and the mechanic I think they should introduce is taunt. What about you guys?
Yeah, I agree on the taunt thing, because like so many cards have had it for like a long time. That Slayer Germon's old. What is it? BT?
No, it's 8, from right? EX. It's EX3.
Yeah, EX3.
No, but I swear, like there was like a thing where like one of the old ones, when it comes out of Raising Air, you have to attack. Or was that EX3 one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
You're thinking of EX3.
Okay. No, that's still kind of old now, though, I feel like. But no, yeah, they've had that for a while, so I agree with that for sure. As for like new mechanics I want to see, like my like Yu-Gi-Oh! Brain Rot, I've always kind of wanted to see like trap cards in the game. And
oh god,
because it's like such a fine line you got to cross. But like something I always see people say about Digimon is they want more interaction, which like I get that. I think aces are a great step to balance that. But I think trap cards wouldn't be that broken, because like if they balance it well, like you have to pay for the memory. I feel like you see the face down, you know what's coming, and then your opponent also has to pay for it, giving you more memory, like as opposed to aces that are free. So I think inherently, because of the mana system, I think trap cards would be a little more balanced here.
that's not a bad idea. I think what you introduce, like, yeah, you get a trap card, but you give your opponent more resources on top of that. Like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, you get to stop their combo, but here's 3 memory just as a compensation. I'm like,
Right,
that's
right.
actually really complex. I'm like, because if
That's
they
it.
still have more
That's-
plays,
Yo,
it's like,
you're
oh
cooking
shit.
with that. You're cooking with
I think
that.
it'd be hype. Yeah, no, I think it'd be cool. So like, imagine having to pay for bottomless trap hole. That'd be cool.
No, and I think you're going with like a common theme that I think a Digimon has very unique compared to other card games is whatever advantage you give to yourself, you give to your opponent, and that
Yeah,
it kind of increases the tug of war aspect.
I gotta say, I'm a real big fan of that type of mechanic introduction. So you're suggesting them like make option cards be able to certain option cards be able to get set, and then when a condition is met, you can flip it up to activate it and pay the memory cost for it.
Yeah, basically, that's like exactly how I would think to implement it.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be really fun. Like, maybe not print too many of them every set, but like I think it'd be cool interaction to add to the game.
Yeah.
Especially if they stay like you have to pay for them. They would not be free like aces, because then I feel like they'd be busted as hell if you made
Yeah,
traps.
but you also gotta look at aces where it's like the second you remove them, like whatever aspect, oh, it feels so good to get that memory back.
That's true. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Like it makes a lot of expensive option cards that you wouldn't normally play viable if you know your opponent is playing a lot of aces.
That's true. That's true. All right, Mr. Phantom Blur, what suggestions do you have in terms of decks that you're looking forward to?
In terms of mechanics that I'd love to see, I kind of want to see something that's more innovative that kind of breaks how the game functions. So a big example is Iceclad, where instead of battling using DP, you'd essentially battling using how many Digivolution cards you have. So I think like that creates a lot of different strategies and types of way of winning, where most decks, like say you're facing like Alphamon, where it has like 20 different like Digivolution cards, and then and say for Iceclad, wrong example. That's probably getting an actual advantage. I'm thinking, say you're playing against like Megazoo or a type of like 7 Demon Lords, and you have Iceclad, and they can actually naturally take out those monsters because it has more Digivolution cards than it, instead of relying on just DP. So it kind of provides a lot more creation and just like, I guess, not trying to be into like the meta or just going for a proper direction, because I think that helped a lot of blue decks just kind of like be a fun side option to kind of like keep up while still being their own thing. And for my own decks that I run, it's like I'm a Greymon player, so it's like I just give me something with a big old bonk stick, and I'm just trying to like just let me swing. Like I don't care. So I guess like Taunt would definitely hurt my favor. I know Collision is a pain in the butt for me for that regard. But yeah, no, I think the way the games are going is really good, but I think I'm just scared where for some of the effects, there's like some of these boss monsters are getting really overpowered. That's true. I think it's like I don't know how to word this. I feel like if there's a way we can have an effect that can take away keywords from other Digimon to get rid of their invulnerability.
So like introduce a keyword called disable, or they probably wouldn't introduce it like that. They would probably be like something computer based.
Like say or disabled, or I guess like some form of negation of like, say while this Digimon's on the field, or say a delay thing, any keywords with a blank keyword cannot trigger or be active. So it's like it would be a good counter, because like we're reaching that weird power creep where it's like why I have this problem, like say Jessmon or Jessmon being like having like 20 different keyword effects, and like I can do everything in this game, I just win.
Yeah, and they also have protection from everything as well, which is also pretty annoying.
Exactly.
So they're like introducing that deck that's saying, hey, go wide, which is typically supposed to be weak to like cards that can deal with wide boards like DefX and stuff like that. But then they're saying, oh, you're also immune to everything, Digimon and option effect. Like, you know, I personally don't think that the right direction for card design is to introduce less interaction, right? Most card players, especially myself included, and I'm pretty sure the sentiment is shared amongst a lot of the Digimon community, we like that back and forth, right? Which is why the memory counter is so cool in this game, because you can't do anything in this game without giving something back to your opponent, right? And that whole juggling act is why this game is so much fun, because you're actively trying to maximize what little value you have to make a big impact, right? But then by introducing cards like Magnamon X and Gallimon X and Jesmon GX Ace and stuff like that, that says we just don't want to play the game. That I don't know. I feel like that defeats the whole purpose of the whole memory counter and everything else, because it's just like we're not playing the same game as you anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Mr. J.
I think for me, I like the idea of trap cards or having more interaction in the game, which I thought about it already. It's like I think there is already a form of trap cards in the game. I think right away I thought about Biting Crush. Biting Crush, if you play a Digimon by effect, it has a delay effect. It pretty much is a disruption, right? So you have to play around it. Like something similar is like Rise of the Demon Lords, that option card, the 4-cost option card, or Crimson Savior, which is not usable. But it's there. I think the option cards could technically in the future be trap cards. They just need to add that delay effect, and maybe if that dragon mode is already there from BT15, BT16, the one that if your opponent digivolves by effect, you can digivolve into dragon mode, fighter mode. So I think if they print that on an option card, that would probably be the best, because I think at some point we'll get hand traps in this game, but I think we're a little far off from that. Maybe implementing the trap cards, the options, would be a lot more reasonable.
I'm kind of worried that we're ever going to get to that aspect, because even some people thought, with aces, it's like a slippery slope to hand traps. Because I know for Yu-Gi-Oh, that's a big problem that they're unsure even how to fix now.
Yeah.
Where, if we go to hand traps, all right, cool. You're going to start making them good. If you make them good, they're going to just take over the game, and where it's like, it's a mandatory thing everyone has to run, and it becomes a big, like bloated problem of like, I have to run this in order to have my deck be competitive per se.
I mean, the reason I left Yu-Gi-Oh was not because of the hand traps, it's because of the 15-minute combos, and then you just scoop if you have no hand traps,
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Wait, see, it's that necessity though. It's like, all right, that's not really how the game is initially supposed to be implemented,
Yeah, I mean, I think about Mirage. Like when I was facing Mirage at the Alti Cup yesterday, like he looped his monsters so many times. Like, dude, what are you doing? I left you at 3 memory. How are you at a level 7? You left me at 1 memory. How does that happen?
But I will say this though. I think the type of effects that you mentioned before, like Binding Crush or like having a delay effects that only trigger during a certain condition.
Miraculous Night is one.
Oh, that one too. Yeah.
I think they're great. My problem is I still feel like those are too slow, just because you have to trigger the first effect first. So say if you're not able to trigger the delay effect at all, and they already have like combo, like what's kind of the point outside of it? Just it's like laying a trap that's very visible,
Yeah.
I will say that with the options, they're the safest cards in the game. There are only 2 forms of removal in the game for options. That's Justimon, the Ace, and Lucimon, because Lucimon just has removal for everything in the game for some reason. Outside of those 2, there is absolutely no interaction on your option.
Did I miss that? Lucimon can pop options?
Yeah. It can pop delayed now.
Yeah. It's an option card that they have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
they're like the only people that can really do it though, so it's.
But that's the point that I'm making.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's the point that I'm making here, is that if we start printing more broken options that trigger during your opponent's turn after you've already paid the initial cost, that would make it where now Bandai has to start printing more Digimon to interact with options. And then it's always going to be a triangle, no matter how you go about doing this, right? If we create cards, you have to have some way to check it. That is the bottom line, right? There is no way that someone should be able to do everything in the game without having some way to check it in some way, shape, or form. That's what proper balancing is. If there's no way to check it, then at the time you ban it or limit it to make sure that other decks have time to catch up. So if you do unban it or unrestricted, other decks are fast enough to be able to keep up with that strategy. That's typically how card balancing works, right? if we introduce a bunch of options that says, hey, when your opponent drops a rookie, this delay effect happens. Well, now I can't play any searchers because every time I do that, that option is going to be there to check my rookies, right? Whenever you activate an option, this option triggers, right? Now I can't just play options now because, again, he has an option that responds to my option. If I play a tamer, he got something for it, right? Like, you can't introduce stuff like that until you create more cards that can deal with that.
That's how I feel about a biting crush. I can't play Digimon at all. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's the mood right there, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I see your point though, Phantom. But that was what I was saying, is that if you do want to introduce more cards like that, you have to have more ways to check it. Because right now there's only two. There's a level 6 that is an ace for a tier 3 deck, or an option card played in a very specific deck that is very high on memory usage in terms of what they do. So, pick your poison type of thing.
No, it makes sense, and I think we're lucky at a point for like effects like that are still very new for the game, and they're not like going crazy with it at the moment. But it's like it's all good in perspective, and where it's like it's better to keep look into these things now before they get out of hand.
Yeah.
For later.
Yeah. Alrighty. So on to the next question for you guys. Has the game felt like it's increased in popularity or stayed roughly the same since you guys started?
Since I started, oh my bad. You could go.
I'll just take over. You're the veteran here.
I was gonna relate it to that. I was gonna say, like, since I started, it makes it a little tricky since I played like since it was in Japanese, So that's like a very long perspective. I played when the game was like announced, like they revealed the first 2 starter decks. They put the PDFs online. I was playing on Tabletop Simulator. So I think I'm gonna have to offer 2 perspectives here. Since that and since North America release. I think like since this first came out, and it's definitely gotten a lot bigger since I started playing it, especially with the North American release from set 1. It was really huge. I think it's reaching its popularity around, I want to say like BT 8 is where it was like really the biggest. It felt like it was only growing until that point. And then I think personally like BT 10, I think it was that introduced the cross guys, right? I'm pretty sure it's 10.
Yeah.
I feel like at that point, like that's where it kind of like hit like a critical mass, and like it started getting complicated, and people started to fall off of it. Yeah, I've seen like a lot of people say like they've stopped around there specifically because the crossword guys and like spamming the field and all those effects and stuff.
Yeah.
And the deck was also like really good too. They had to limit it like almost immediately. So I think it was only growing until then, and then since there, I feel like it's plateaued. I don't think the game has gotten any less popular. I think it's maintained its popularity. Maybe like a little bit because of One Piece coming in. Like I think like One Piece just like tanked every other card game it existed. Like it took a lot of their players. Like even from the big 3, I think like a lot of people went to One Piece. So like maybe like a little less popular, maybe a little decrease. But overall, I think the game stayed very consistent with like its like player base, amount of people to show up to tournaments, size, and all that. There's definitely been a hit since the peak, but like everything's had a hit since the peak because the peak was during COVID, and like it's unrealistic to chase those highs because those are some really special conditions that set that up for a lot of industries. So I definitely think like Digimon was only growing to a point, and now it's just kind of like stabilized. I don't really think I feel like I've seen like much growth, especially just because there's so many games on the market now. I feel like like these smaller games, they have a cap now because you got like Lorcana now, you got Flesh and Blood, you got you even have like Elestrals, that YouTuber thing. There's just like so much stuff. So I feel like Digimon's like in a okay spot right now, and it's kind of just like staying there. It's not really bad or good. It's like just chugging along in a pretty healthy place.
All right, that's interesting. It's like you played this game way before the game officially came out in North America. I have the perspective of I've been playing the game since it came out since North America, where it's like I've been a day one for like for it. I've only ever missed like one format, and that's because like I just didn't care for it, and I came back immediately after. So I've been through like the lows to lows and the highs to highs for the game so far. Where I think right now is, I don't think it's at the lowest point, but man, we are nowhere near the peak. Like, and it's I like to blame Bandai's part on that, if I'm being completely honest, just because there's been so many like reasoning and like where Digimon has just been kind of set up to fail, but because of the dedication towards the player base and how the game is forming, it's still here. And I always make a joke where it's like Bandai tried to kill this game, but it's like we're still living because like we're like its second child, and right now it's like it's on its like 6th card game. After One Piece is like, oh, this is amazing, let's keep going. I'm like, and nothing has given them the same high ever since, and they keep giving so much marketing to One Piece, which I'm not gonna doubt. I think One Piece is a great card game, but I'm like, if they just gave a little bit more attention to other card games that were actually trying just as hard, like Dragon Ball, kind of already going down even with the reboot. With is it Battle Saga? Yeah, Battle Saga. That one, we don't talk about that one. And then obviously Union Arena is a mixed bag where it's like you either get like it or you don't. And then the Gundam card game is like it's still neat. It's still pretty niche. And it's like Digimon is where I feel like it's the only game where it hasn't gotten as much marketing, but it's thriving thoroughly out of like the pure fan base of the Digimon community. Where it's like
you definitely cooked with that one, because I definitely felt like there was like zero advertisement for Digimon at all. It was always word of mouth or begrudging Yu-Gi-Oh players that just got tired of Yu-Gi-Oh and just went over to Digimon.
No, and then they always just shocked me like, dang, this is actually a really fun and like cool, well-balanced card game. Like, we've been trying to tell people that. And I think when they think of a side card game to play, they either go for One Piece, Pokemon, or Larcana. And that's just because like they're good at marketing and the word of mouth gets much farther. Where even when you think of a Bandai game, Digimon doesn't even come into the conversation anymore. They get mentioned slightly, but at the most, it's like Dragon Ball because they want to push the reboot a little bit, and then it's always One Piece because One Piece is like it's that biggest hot commodity. Where One Piece is getting more support and more bigger LGS stores than just Digimon, and it sucks because I want it to thrive. I think it's going well, but now. For the past couple months, I think after 17, if you weren't really into Nats, there was kind of nothing to really care for outside of like the new cards in the set, and Bandai wasn't really giving you much outside of like the holiday stuff. And that's how I still feel now, where the popularity is it's stagnant, but slowly kind of going down compared to how other card games are kind of going about it. Because right now Pokemon is currently the big craze, but that's because like it's scalper galore again. And One Piece is still going as hot as it ever, and then Gundam just because it's new. Every other card game is kind of quiet. So I think Digimon is just in this weird gray area of all we've been doing is talking about this merger over and over and over again. And I'm like, I've even like adapted to other side hobbies until this merger happens to kind of see what's going on. Because like I love this card game, I still play it, I still hold my decks. But it's just like the engagement and level of excitement hasn't really happened because they keep hyping it up of wait till this thing happens, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm still waiting. So it's like I have hope, but it's just like you have a big gamble at this point for it.
Okay. Me personally, I feel I started at the end of BT4, beginning of BT5. And been playing consistently ever since. I think I did take breaks here and there, but nothing like too seriously. Like I played like in pretty much every single format of Digimon. And I say collectively, most of the player base, from what I've seen, this is just from my perspective, had always been somebody who came from a frustrated card game over to play Digimon for a while. And sometimes they would fully convert, right? And just be full-time Digimon players. And then at other times, they just played it for a bit until they frustration with their main card game had dissipated, or a format they wasn't having fun with has already sailed. And then they hop back onto their main TCG, right? I've seen it with quite a few different Pokemon players. I've seen it with quite a few Yu-Gi-Oh players. I've seen it with a few Magic players, things of that nature, because we have mechanics that are similar to all of their games that they feel like it's an easy transition to just pick up the game. And they may have watched like a season or an episode here or there, or maybe seeing like little snippets online. It was like, oh, this is pretty cool. right? And so they had an idea of a Digimon that they might want to build a deck around and things of that nature. They played for a little bit with some friends, and just had casual fun with it. And then eventually it was like, okay, cool. The main card game that I'm interested in started printing stuff that I care about now. I'm going to go back to my card game, which is why I think we saw that rise and dip type of thing. Because I think at the worst period of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the highest period for Digimon. And that wasn't by coincidence, right? A lot of people jump shipped over, myself included, and a ton of other people, right?
It's when I think like there was more of the card games than just like the big three.
Yeah. So for me, right, I used to be, I wouldn't say I was like a whale in terms of like big spending, but I say this, when OT Colossus first came out and they were $90 a piece, I definitely that same night had 3 OT Colossus. So, what I'm saying is like a lot of those people who was out here just throwing money at the card game to play it saw cheaper alternatives, beautiful art styles, a thriving community. It looked tempting on paper, right? They go over there, they play for a bit, then they start getting frustrated with the format, usual card game angst. And then they're like, I kind of miss my old card game. I'm going to go back and go play it. All their friends are still there, all the established connections that they have, everything else. And they said, that was fun for a bit. I'm going to stop playing it. I'm going to go back to the card game of my past, right? Because the bottom line is, this is a social thing, right? You go here to meet up with friends or meet up with people that you play with on the regular. Y'all talk about, y'all chop shop about work or school or whatever is going on in your life or whatever, play a few matches. Sometimes go out to go grab a burrito or something to drink or something like that. And y'all go your separate ways, right? Fun little engaging time throughout the week right after you get off a long day of work. That's the real bottom line with every single card game. Where the reason why people stay with certain card games over others is just simply based off the community and what am I playing this for, right? If I'm a casual, I'm just playing this just for fun. I'm playing it to get enjoyment out of it. If I'm serious, what does the prizing look like, right? What do I gain from playing this at the highest level? And I feel like Digimon definitely does a good job at that compared to some of the other guys. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been giving out like fucking air fryers for prizing, which is fucking crazy. But we're not here to bash Yu-Gi-Oh! The point that I'm making here is that there are 3 main things that keep a player playing a card game: the community, the prizing, and the format. If your prizing is good, people are more than likely going to stay, right? Most Pokemon players play Pokemon almost exclusively because they do cash prizes. You can't beat that, right? I go to a tournament, I know I got a killer deck, I'm finna blast everybody up in here, I'll walk away with $200. That's a good fucking evening, right? That's a good evening. I came in, I played the game that I normally would have played in my own spare time, but I did it in a competitive sense and got paid for doing something that I'm good at. That feels incredible, right? Then your community. Are the people nice? Do I feel like I'm welcome here? Is there even anybody here? If I go to a shop, are there going to be like 4 to 6 people here? Or are there going to be 20, 30, 50 people here, right? When I go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals, it's a lot of people there. When I go to Digimon Locals, it's not that many people there. There's not a lot of people consistently showing up, consistently playing the game. And that really hurts the player base, because if I did enjoy Digimon, now I don't feel encouraged to want to keep playing it because no one else is playing it. I'm not going to play a game that no one else is playing. I'm going to go play something that I know people are playing. So that's where I feel. I feel like it's definitely reached a plateau, and it's hard to get over this plateau because of those 3 things that I mentioned before. If they can figure out a way to get Digimon in a direction to fix those 3 things, they could definitely increase the player base, in my personal opinion.
I feel like it just comes down to marketing with like it more down to it's like there's stuff we can do, but there's also stuff that like, the company should also help because they're not oblivious to it, you know?
Yeah.
But
Mr.
Mr.
G.
The original question was, has the game has it increased in popularity or stayed the same? Honestly, I think it definitely like it dipped after the One Piece thing, right? I felt that because I think one summer I was getting a lot of subscribers, and then One Piece came along and I never had the same amount. But there's other channels that are growing faster than mine, so like it maybe it's just something I'm doing wrong. But I think for me personally, I feel like it stayed the same and it's slowly dipping. Because even me, like I'm not even gonna lie, like 2 weeks ago I was talking about going back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was originally a Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel, and like I played Sky Striker, I played like Ancient Warriors and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, the viewership on Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still like 50k, 100k per video, and I'm like, why is Digimon still at 1k, maybe 1k, 2k, 1k, 2k for most creators actually? You know, sometimes they get 4k, 5k on. I think deck profiles are the most popular in Digimon. But I think it stayed the same. I think it's actually dipped a little bit, especially after One Piece came out. And I don't know. To be honest, I haven't had the same amount of fun as when I first started. Like I remember my first deck was Ragnarlordmon. So I think that was BT 1.5. And then I made the Secret Rare Imperial Dramon, the green one. That one was also really fun. But yeah, when I first started Digimon, it was crazy. Like the memory system, the game mechanics were so different compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just like, if you wanted to be a good player, you had to know your deck in and out. You had to know like the 10 other 15, like 10, 15, 20 other decks that were either tier 1, 1.5, tier 2 to be a good player and to like win tournaments, you know? And Digimon was so new, and not that there were so many little decks, but I felt like it was really fair compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. I don't know if I'm just in a slump, but I feel like it's going down. And Phantom, like you mentioned, how everyone's just waiting on the whole world convergence thing. It's like nothing else matters right now. It's just wait until like April, whenever that is, and everything else is kind of like. Go ahead.
So I'm so happy you brought up like certain like how you feel about the game, especially now. It's because I always call this time of year the Digimon slump because for whatever reason, Bandai sucks at releasing really enticing product or events around this time of year of November to February. Because obviously January is Nats, but if you don't care about Nats, oh my god, there's hardly anything for you to get outside of like an EX set. And that can only hold you off so much for like say a month when the set's already new and it wears off and I'm like, all right, cool. And that's also like if the EX set does anything to the meta. If it doesn't, oh my gosh.
It's funny you brought that up though, Phantom, because that was actually the next question, and he kind of alluded to it too. What is your overall enjoyment of the game currently?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe I mixed those two questions in there. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of alluded to it already. So currently, right now, you're saying that it's kind of been a little bit of a downward slope for you, right?
I mean, I don't know if other people feel that way, but it's been dipping for me for sure. Like, you know, sometimes it takes a lot of. For me, it takes a lot of energy to go to locals, record the videos, edit the videos, and commentate on the videos, and then like upload them to YouTube. And then like for people not to like really view them, it's like, why do I do it? I might as well just play the game. Not like that's extra time that I'm doing. But overall, I just think the way how fast the game is progressing. We don't have trap cards yet. We don't have hand traps yet. But I think the abuse of the memory system, especially from Purple, like. Obviously, there's going to be a restriction list soon, but, you know, Purple Hybrid gaining 8 memory off the 4 Jack raids in their hand, or like Mirage, you know, does the memory system even apply to them? You know, it's just those type of things obviously get to me. But
no, yeah, it's a
I agree.
Yeah, that's a big problem. I'm one of the biggest haters against community. Like Zuki can confirm, I hate that color so much.
Purple is kind of overtuned in this game.
But like. Sorry if I'm cutting off your statement on that, Mr. J. But I think because of how like this Digimon slump is handling it and all these problems that the game is having, people are just kind of trying to jump ship, or like not on purpose, but because like what they're offering right now is just not that appealing, and where it's like you can still have fun at a small level, but if you want to go a bit above, it's really frustrating at times because like I said, Purple's kind of overrunning everything. Don't get me started on Mirage. And then any problems that the game is having, both marketing wise, gameplay wise, all Bandai's saying is wait till we have a merger. It's okay. Things are going to change. And that's one thing we can confirm now, because like that merger is something so new that we're not sure what to really expect afterwards. But that's also where you put yourself in a coin flip situation of like, cool, it could help revitalize the game. Or it just doesn't do anything and all that hype was wasted.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing I'm afraid of, because I'm trying to be optimistic about it. But if you're putting all your eggs in that basket, that better be good.
Okay. So what about you then, Phantom? What's your overall enjoyment of the game?
I think I'm still having my fun with it, just because I can still be creative. At the moment, I'm very much having fun with a lot of rogue decks, or just decks that I personally like, because I don't want to adhere too much to the meta. Like, I'm a Shine Greymon player, and I've been running that deck for 2 years now, and I still have the creativity for it. But I can also understand that where it's like, not everyone is into that type of strategy, and either if you want to compete and get results, you have to conform, or go against the grain, and some people are not always like that. So I think I'm in a good spot, but I'm also just patiently watching. It's like, all right, I'm gonna let Bandai cook, because they're claiming a lot of things with this merger, and obviously within the Wild West, like I said, anything could happen. I'm just praying it's for the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Face, what's your opinion? What's your overall enjoyment of the game right now?
No, yeah, I gotta echo Jay's comments. That is my big issue with the game for a couple of sets that, like I said, the last one I really played extensively was BC14, because like since then it feels like everything just ignores the memory gauge, and I hate that. Like Anubis was like the big deck when I took a break.
Yeah.
And he just spews out body after body, and sometimes the bodies pop something, and the bodies get memory back. It's so annoying. I hated that. And then like you also have Mirage, it gains like 1 billion memory. These are like 2 big decks, but it feels like a lot of decks do this, not even just the best decks anymore. So like you have to put people at 1 now, and half the time doesn't even matter anymore, because they still go up to like 5 off of like your effects and shit. And it's like really annoying. The memory gauge and the back and forth of it is the coolest thing about Digimon. Like the appeal to me when I was playing for the first couple sets, for a lot of the sets really, was the actions were limited, but they mattered. So like right now, the game I'm putting a lot of time into is Edison format Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like an old retro format that plays from the ban list using 2010, April 2010, I think. So like synchro era. And in that, like I've been having a lot of fun playing that, because your options are limited depending on the deck you're playing. Like something like Vayu Turbo combos for days. But like most of the decks, their options are limited per turn, but like the choices you make are huge impact. And that's what Digimon was for a lot of, I say until like maybe BT 11. That's like what Digimon was, where like few actions, you probably get like 3 actions per turn really, if they put you to 3. And but every choice you made mattered, and like what you left them at memory wise mattered, because sometimes maybe the play wasn't putting them to 1, because then you're limiting yourself too. You just got to spend extra memory, give them 3, as long as you get ahead enough in momentum, whatever. But now it's just like everything gains memory. Everything you hit 3 boosts out of security, delay 1 billion, you combo for game that turn. Like I hate a lot of that, and I miss the memory gauge feeling that like it was important. So like I haven't been having as much fun with it lately. But I also haven't been playing it as frequently as I used to. So I don't know. Maybe if I update Rapidmon and get those $30 Rapid X, I'll like it more. But that's my issue right now.
You know what's so funny about that too? There was a little point where I started playing Edison as well. I played Quick Draw Synchro, and I definitely understand where you're coming from with the impact of the turns, because like I feel like at its core, Digimon is still the same, but there are definitely a lot of cards in the game that just completely just say we are not playing the same game, right? Since I started making a lot of like rogue deck content on like my TCG channel, boy, oh boy, is it fucking hard to make those things work. You go against decks that just completely ignore everything, right? Most of the time in Digimon, there's always a body on board for you to interact with, right? Because every aspect of this game is constantly interaction between each other, whether it's from the memory or Digimons or Tamers, right? There's some form of interaction. Purple Hybrid do not respect that at all. They just put Tamers in the back and just say, that's my turn. And then immediately just punch you in the throat for a gajillion damage, blow up everything on your side of the board. They pass the turn over and you're like, oh yeah, I got this, I can do this, I got to do. They have no Digimon there. They have no Digimon there. And there's like only a few decks that can deal with tamers, like that just have dedicated tamer removal, right? And outside of those few strategies, which are all black, by the way, if you're playing any other color, you have no way to deal with those tamers. They can just go buck wild, and there's no way to check them. There's zero way to check them. That is so annoying. And then like purple always feels like it is not playing the same game. They have 3 hands because they play yellow in most of their decks now. They can play from security, they can play from the trash, they can play from their actual hand. Then they have a gajillion fucking options that give them memory for free. Like, I pay 1 memory to get back 2 Digimon from my trash, and I don't even have to delete the fucking Digimon to do that? And it costs 1?
Zuki, man.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I can solve your problem right now. If I make the suggestion, just bring Greymon X back to 4. There you go.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That's my.
It does not need to stay at 1. It would help so much in the deck. Oh my gosh.
Hades Force would run wild, you know.
Oh my god, I would love to see Hades Force back in the format and just seeing purple hybrid just sit there and be like damn, I guess I gotta switch decks.
No, and I think that actually brings a fun thing that I think Bandai did was working. Where I know Taste, you were probably on break when this happened. When a card like Ukomon first came out and everyone was running that for so much, and a lot of strategies were kind of relying on it, especially rogue decks. It got to a certain point where oh, sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, I'll just say I know about Uko. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so around August, that ban list that obviously took care of Uko. It was the biggest ban list I think we've ever had so far. It took care of a lot of problems. Mind you, it didn't take care of everything. Like, Mirage was still alive at that point, but like it took care of a lot of. It took care of the Ukomon problem. It took care of a lot of blue shenanigans that were just problematic. I think like some slight purple. I think at some point.
Yeah.
There was like 1 or 2 purple strategies.
It was like Anubis that got whacked, and it changed a lot of stuff for Leviathan.
Mm-hmm. Point is, it was like, all right, cool. You actually felt like you were listening to a good chunk of our demands, because if you didn't answer it, this game was going to go down the toilet so fast. Mm-hmm. And I think, which is what I'm hoping now, once with the merger and once people are evaluating where the meta is going, I think if we can get more of a more stricter ban list of just kind of nuking a lot of the old stuff in a healthy manner of like what's currently meta and just kind of revitalizing where the game is going, because this is their really big chance. With this merger, no one knows where the future is going to be now, because English is no longer relying on Japanese meta as much, and now it's going to cause an influx of, all right, how creative can we get with this, and where can Bandai as a company do to help keep the game going?
Okay. But I didn't actually answer the question. My overall enjoyment of the game is I started crashing out, so that's on me.
Purple fuck, TLDR, purple fuck.
I particularly hate purple hybrid. Like that one I hate a little bit higher than other purple decks. Other purple decks, they at least got a body on board for me to interact with. Purple hybrid just leaves tamers in the back. They always end their turn with just tamers. There's never a body for you to interact with. So you're forced to always have to play a completely different type of deck, but you can't just prepare for tamer removal, right? Because then you'll bump into like Mirage decks, which doesn't really use that many tamers. If they're even using Thomas at all anymore, because a lot of them switched over completely to the Galaxy engine, which is strictly just Digimon. Or you got Dino decks, you got fucking and that's actually started to see some results and things of that nature. You got Galamon, which also does play a lot of tamers, but they don't need the tamers as badly as like before, because before they lived and died off the Takato EX2, right? But now they're like, oh well, you know, if we see him, cool. If we don't, whatever. You know, we got Gallimon X. He answered all of our prayers. So overall, I definitely am still having fun with the game. But as you can see, I do have my frustrations with the game. Right? It is definitely not an easy thing to champion when you try to convince people to come and check out your favorite game, and then you got to explain to them, oh well, you know, there's Magnamon X, there's Leviamon, there's fucking what's it called? Like these really unfun decks that kind of bump into, and you just kind of like, the game is fun. You just gotta deal with some of these decks that are not as fun to deal with, you know. But yeah, I definitely agree with your sentiment before though, Taste, with it felt like the game just has so much more impact in terms of what you did with what little resources you had, because there were so few cards that used to generate extra memory, right?
Yeah.
And it was such a luxury to do anything in that current state of the game. Now where we're at, you are relying heavily on your system to get you to where you need to. And I think Bandai is starting to slowly realize that, which is why they're now making it so everything is locked within their archetype now, right? You see those little rule books that they constantly keep printing on every single fucking Digimon card now? They're doing that
like this card is treated as such
right.
Such.
They're doing that now to lock shit out of being treated like the Galaxy engine. They don't want to make engines, right? Because that's the biggest problem with Yu-Gi-Oh right now, is that people don't feel creative. You just throw a bunch of shit together and it just works, right? Like right now on Master Duel, the best deck is Asamina, fucking White Witch, Fiendsmith, fucking Snake Eye. That's 4 decks that you just toss together and you like, they're just good. They just work. Like, you stop this, cool, I got this line. You stop that line, I got this line. You stop that line, I still got this line. You're like, God damn it, when is your turn in? When I run out of cards. Right? Like the decks just play themselves. And that's kind of what it feels like with Digimon right now, is that because the engines are so fucking strong and they're able to generate so much advantage to try to make these weaker strategies better, they didn't lock it within their archetype. And because they didn't lock it, you're bumping into shit like Mirage, right? You're bumping into shit like Leviathan with the whole Dark Animal line and stuff like that, right? You're bumping into stuff like Lord Nightmon abusing the Dark Animal package, which wasn't intended for him at all. It was supposed to be fucking the Dark Knight. It was supposed to be Dark Knight and Lord Nightmon together. Instead, they said, fuck that. We can get way more out of just using the fucking Dark Animal package. And they were right. They were getting the results. That was the best deck in BT18, BT19, right? That, like, by them making these generic archetypes that can just be tossed into anything because they're the same color, you end up making these unfun formats that we're complaining about, right? By them making it locked to a specific tamer or a specific Digimon, you can mitigate a lot of that and make it where it's like, okay, this is only just here to support this deck. So if you got a problem with it, then figure out a way to deal with this deck, not with this engine, if that makes sense. All right.
Nice.
Huh? So, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question now. With the unification of the game, do you believe that it will boost the popularity of the game?
I would like to state first, as I know I've been the one complaining about and mentioning this merger so much. So based on what the information that we have now, I think the unification is definitely going to boost it, just because comparing to every other card game right now, there's no other card game where the Japanese and the I guess other non-Japanese meta formats are combined. Every other format always is like the Japanese always has it ahead by like X amount of sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's like they're trying to use that as like one gimmick for Digimon to entice people, where it's like you never know what could really happen. It could go really bad, or it could be really good, but it's supposed to force a type of creativity. And not only that, it's also, I think it'll help encourage people from Japan and other non-Japan areas to cooperate with each other and be like, hey, we're kind of working with similar ideas. What do you think about this? Where instead it was before of like Japan always had like the first cards first, and they had to be creative first, and then once American were just watching what was topping, it's like, all right, what if we take that and tweak it a bit? And obviously they're still gonna be playing different formats where Japan is playing like best of one, and like say North America it's like still best of three. I think it's still a really good way of attention, and also if we're basing it off the current sets that's being released right now, like say the starter decks, which are going to be coming out for everyone soon, I'm looking at a Greymon player, bro. I'm excited because they just introduced a new form of warping without needing with more extra requirements. I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. Do you know how much like way you can come back now? Like, I think that's amazing. They're gonna start implementing more of those. You have a chance of getting like a super rare card in a structure deck again, and I just think it's really smart. I think I'm excited that they already have announced like are leaking or what the next few sets are going to be about. Like we're going back to like Cyber Sleuth, which got me excited as an Omnimon player, a Diaboromon fan, and I'm like, all right. I think as long as they keep giving people what they want in terms of sets and cards, I think we're in a really good state. And I think so far, even past the merger, they're giving a lot of support that's been really requested. And I think one thing they could also do is like take notes of like popularity polls and see what's kind of like booming, you know? But that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Did you guys want to go first or?
Yeah. Will the unification boost the popularity of the game? Yeah, I think it will. Honestly, I don't know how much it will how much it realistically could, because like that's kind of like a competitive thing, you know. The people are going to be really caring about that, so like maybe it'll bring in some new players, but I think it'll give it a boost. Not like the biggest one, but it'll give it a boost for sure. Because like he was saying, I can't think of any game that has a unified format like that. I think maybe Magic the Gathering is parallel with the releases, but like no one cares about Magic in Japan. It's like a small game over there, so I don't know how much that actually matters. But I think they might have it. But other than that, there's like no other card game that's ever done this, as far as I'm aware, or like running game. Maybe like some game that's dead now. But so I think that's really huge. It's gonna be like a unique thing that might get people to come over. I think it'll bring back old players too. I think is like a thing. People are gonna be like, oh, that's cool, because like a lot of people I've seen, like they get bored because like the meta's solved ahead of time. I think you could experiment, and like we've had like some stuff pop up like back in like it was a while ago, but there was like a yellow Cherubimon deck way back in the day. That was like, I think it was it pure yellow or yellow purple? But it was like a wholly North American invention. Like that was not popping up in any Japanese locals that I noticed. So I think there's room for experimentation, but like a lot of people they would be like, understandably like, yeah, the meta's kind of solved. I don't really want to play. I'm kind of bored. I burned myself up playing it in Japanese testing, and now it's in English. So I think like that, now that that's eliminated, it's going to bring back like some good, some old players. It'll probably catch some people's new eyes. I think it'll be a small bump, nothing crazy, but it'll definitely be good. And I think the real excitement comes from like what Bandai can do with that going forward. I'm excited to see what we can do now that we don't have to wait in between sets.
I guess for me, I think the unification definitely will boost the popularity of the game, just based on what Bandai is committing to trying to help make it more popular. This is probably the most active I've ever seen Bandai with Digimon, and I think it's just due to like sales in the West and the rest of the world. They're seeing that people do actually like this game, surprisingly, right? And we do play this regularly, and you know, we're supporting the game as much as we can. And so Bandai wants to put a little bit of effort into it with the whole with the new structure decks that they got coming out. They got like this new player day where they're going to try to bring in new players and give them like brand new decks. And they've already started doing this a little bit, but they're going to give them like a complete Gallimon deck, a complete Sukuyamon deck, you know, to just be able to, hey, I'd like to try to play Digimon. Okay, here's your structure deck, completely free. Go in there, go have fun, right? you didn't have to pay for any staples. You didn't have to beg anybody for any cards or anything like that. You didn't have to wait for a friend to invite you out. You can literally just go to your local card shop, ask for a deck, and then boom, you can start playing right away. That's what Bandai has already got in the pipeline to try to get new players into the seats to try to start playing the game. And they got stuff for returning players too and stuff like that. They did that on like the whole unification stream or whatever. So I'm actually excited just because of how involved Bandai is. Because like Phantom was talking about earlier, the card game has definitely been the ugly stepchild of Bandai, right? It was a game they wanted to do some money off of. I think it was like a cash grab for them at first, like just to see if nostalgic bucks would come in. And it did, but then they saw how popular it was everywhere else except in Japan. And Bandai is a Japanese company, so they focus more on Japanese income than they do on the rest of the world. But the rest of the world income was so high that they can't just say, oh, just cut it off. Because like that's a big source of income, right? So then you end up in this weird predicament where Digimon isn't the most popular game in Japan. It definitely has its player base, but the rest of the world is pushing it up to main like card game stay levels where you're like, okay, is it worth us investing more money, more resources, more advertisement into this game to get more eyes on it? Or should we just focus on the one that we had released out from the jump and it did its thing and we didn't have to do shit for it either? Because believe it or not, One Piece didn't really add that much advertisement either, right? It came out kind of similar fashion to how Digimon did. A little bit of word of mouth. Just go to your local card shop. You start seeing posters posted up everywhere, and you start asking questions like, "Oh, they got One Piece coming out soon."
And not to mention, it had the anime promoting itself unintentionally.
Yeah. But the point is that I'm saying this is that Bandai took the same approach that they did with One Piece, but One Piece blew up. But that's because One Piece is One Piece, right? It's an active anime that is one of the most popular animes on television right now, right? It is very few that is beating One Piece in terms of viewership, commitment, and everything else. Like you got to be fully committed to watch One Piece because there are 1,000+ episodes. So everybody who watched One Piece fucks with One Piece in every way, shape, or fashion. They know everything about everybody and everybody's lore, every war story building piece, everything about it. So I personally think the unification will A, increase the popularity, B, help show that Bandai do actually care about the card game a little bit, so it might be worth investing more time into, which can help flourish out the community and stuff like that. Because overall, I feel like the Digimon community is a really good community, right? Like I've never really had any bad experiences with the Digimon community compared to like the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Granted, I'm a lot more cautious because of my experience in the Yu-Gi-Oh community with like decks being stolen or people getting into fights and all the other type of stuff. So I guess I'm a little bit more conditioned to try to be wary, but overall my like experiences with each and every single individual player has always been a net positive over like a neutral or a bad experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really chill community.
One of the better ones I've seen and interacted with, which is always good. I think it's like if anyone wants to first ever get into card games, I always recommend Digimon the most, just because like it's a community where it's like they'll help you out more just because they want to see their crowd grow, rather than see it as a chance to be exploitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay? What do you think about the unification?
I do think it's going to increase the popularity of the game. I know Bandai's like, yeah, wait till this day, wait until April, but I do wish I knew some Japanese because then I could get some of the Japanese audience. Because like you guys had said, you know, first we look at the Japanese decks and then we kind of just tinker with whatever was meta over there. Mm-hmm. But now we have a chance to, you know, American players or people in the TCG to be the first ones to create a meta deck, you know. So I think that's going to be interesting. And yeah, obviously we're combining the OCG and TCG, so 50%. I mean, I'm thinking I could like, you know, double my numbers viewership wise, subscriber count. But that's probably like marketing, all that stuff, which I'm not really into. So, but point being, I think the popularity of the game is going to increase because we're gonna be able to interact with each other a lot more. TCG and OCG.
Yeah. All right. So, final question. Obviously, you guys can bring up many other questions that you guys might have. But the last one I had prepared for you guys this evening was, what are you guys' thoughts on Appmon? And do you think that it should be in the Digimon card game?
I've never watched that Mon, but I think it should be in the card game because like it's Digimon. It's a spin-off, but they are Digimon. The thing is literally called Digi Universe Happily Monsters.
I'm in the same boat just because I technically saw no issues. We already have like TCG original Digimon already in the card game as well, like Savagamon and stuff like that from the webtoon and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And I think the card game benefits from having a more and more diverse creatures because like we're not like Yu-Gi-Oh where you can just create unique archetypes or magic on the fly for every single set. Like Digimon's already a program where it's like, how many colors does Agumon have? How many printings of Gabumon do we have? It's like the more we have diverse pools and cards, the better we can have more longevity for the card game.
Okay. I've seen some of the Appmon stuff. I'm a little curious to see how they want to go about doing the upgrade of the Appmon stuff. That's why I'm a little scared of the balancing, because I don't know if you guys ever seen any of the Appmon, but their entire line is Jagras. So they cannot digivolve. They only combine together. So like,
wasn't that Shotmon for like a hot minute?
Yeah, but the problem is that they will Jagras, their DNA digivolving. So that means they will get basically an entire deck of Rush. That means if they have ways to make their deck super efficient in memory, I could potentially hit you 3 to 4 times in a single turn, and you cannot stop me from doing that.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, it's like just have the joggers actually cost memory, where it's like normally joggers is free, right? It tells you it's free, right? In the on the card text.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just give the joggers a memory, like a memory requirement, like a Digivolution requirement. It's a simple addition. It's already implemented in the system. And not to mention, it's like, all right, cool. Give it an effect that gives it like play the second body for free. Cool. Imperagemon already has it. Let's be quite honest. It's not something new. And when you DNA, you have to pay a requirement. It's like for every level, like pay 2 to digivolve to a 4, pay 3 for a 5, and then 4 for a 6. Like,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little boring, but it's like, but that's how it was for treat it like how Digimon originally was supposed to be, and that fixes the issue of like slowing it down. You have to be more cost efficient with your memory, and then not only that, this could also incorporate other effects of like, say they need another form of training cards, but only for Jogresses to reduce the cost, because that means now they can implement that. Mind you, could that create other problems with like other non-Appmon related archetypes? Sure. But you could also make the option cards more specific to that lineup as well, because traits and all that. Like if you're Jogersing into a certain trait, you can reduce the Digivolution cost. So like there's ways around it to kind of still have it be restricted, but at the same time also still keeping it fair and be able to accelerate to keep up with the meta.
What about you, Mr. J? What's your thoughts on that? Should they be in the game?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't care. This is too far away from me, man. Like, I think for me right now as a creator, I'm just like focused on Digimon matches. I'm like, I'm doing the current meta. Maybe like 2.5 is coming out next, but like stuff that's coming out like April, May, June. Like, I'm not. Dude, it's too far away from me, man. And I think it's also because I'm burned out, so I might get some backlash for saying I don't care. But at the same time, like, dude, I'm burned out. Like, I'm just trying to chug along here.
Dude, it's fair. I'm in a, like I said, Taste is still on a hiatus. I have been going into like Beyblade, ironically, really hard. Where that's my attention right now, and I'm waiting for Digimon to kind of like pick me back in.
Beyblade card game?
No,
the actual toys.
Oh, like
it's fucking blowing up.
Yeah,
everyone
bro,
is playing Beyblade. Yeah, with the toys.
You know what's so funny? Fucking Blur got me and Taste to play Beyblades.
Like if it's complex like a TCG, but it's been like my side chick right now for like playing for like hobbies and everything right now, and I'm waiting for Digimon to kind of like be like, hey, we're ready for you to come back. And
I will say one thing though about the Beyblade community. It is a very mixed bag. It is not the same like how it is in Digimon or other TCGs, in the sense that when you come in there, you might go against a 7-year-old, or you might go against somebody who's like 43. You might go against somebody who is a normal human being, or you might go against somebody who thought they came straight out of the Matrix. One of the lasting impressions I've ever had was a guy who came into a Beyblade tournament with the Neo trench jacket, and he had the sunglasses, and he was walking in there like Zoolander. So he was doing this, and he comes in with his tackle box, slams it on the table, and he says, "I'm ready to play." I was like, "Oh my god, bro!"
Yeah, but every card game has that. I can list a handful of Digimon.
Brother, that was next level. Nigga, we were in a Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's, brother. That's outrageous. You can't do that type of behavior in public like that. Anime conventions, go rock.
Look, I know some people,
bro.
Look, I know
you
some
at a
people
card
who
shop? Cool.
Gotten really obsessed with like the playmat culture. It's like Digimon is a weird game where you want to do waifus, man. It's like it's every card game, so it's like I don't want to. Card games can be just as cringe as other people.
You can fawn over the fucking Digimons themselves. That's just data. But if you fawn over the female characters, that's different, right? Because most of them are underage. So now you're a weirdo.
All right, that's a fun tangent. But to get my point though, it's like I get what you mean entirely, Mr. J, on just like feeling burnt out on this card game, and it's like we're all just kind of waiting for something to kind of like bring back the excitement we once had. And one thing is like either do a side hobby to kind of just keep your like passion going, and then jump back in whenever you feel like something new is ready to kind of like revitalize yourself, you know?
Yeah. Which sucks. I think it sucks. I thought about going on a hiatus recently, but usually when I come back, my numbers dip so much, so I don't even do it. Like Taste, yeah. I feel like your videos are pretty popular, honestly, and I think it's just like the different content, because like I do matches, but I think deck profiles honestly get more views, and I think if you're talking about new product, you get so much views. You know, if you're talking about Digimon Theory, you get so much views. That's just not my thing, you know. Like I don't like talking about that stuff.
Fair.
So.
Right, that's fair. Yeah. No, I think it kind of makes sense too, because like a lot of Digimon's a second game for a lot of people, so they're just like, let me look up new meta deck I can copy and click on the deck profile.
Yeah.
But I should do it, man, because.
What you could also mention is, what I could also recommend is like, why not just try alternate formats, or give yourself a challenge like what Zuki does, like play a rogue deck and to see how far your creative skills can get you that far per se. Where it's like it doesn't have to apply to like the meta format, but like it's ways to spice up your content.
I will say, in terms of like, because my second channel, it got like only 152 something subscribers or whatever, right? That channel is a love child of my passion for card games. So card games in itself is a niche audience, right? We are not popular at all, and do not let anybody ever tell you differently. We are not popular. The most popular TCG that's probably gonna fall around like Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? There's not a single person on the planet who don't know one of those TCGs. Right? We got rappers who make fucking actual chains out of fucking Monster Reborn. Like they're popular, and they've got the notoriety. They have their audience. So if you try to make content for anything that's not a part of the big three, you're already at a disadvantage. And then if you try to make content for one of the big threes, you got to compete against some of the biggest names in the game, right? You got Jesse Cotton, who's a new content creator for Yu-Gi-Oh, but is literally one of the most decorated Yu-Gi-Oh players of all time, right? Like, that's a real hard thing to beat. Then you got somebody like Sam, who literally works with everybody. Like, he doesn't discriminate. He works with all Yu-Gi tubers, right? So you got one of the biggest channels that says, hit you up in your DMs one day and be like, hey, you want to do a collaboration video? Oh, you gonna drop everything and go work with that nigga. Like, what the fuck? He got almost 1 million subscribers off of Yu-Gi-Oh alone. Then you got Team APS. That's a whole team of people. So it's not even just one individual who's creating that content, right? It's 5 other individuals who can help post the video today. So like, let's say you're feeling burnt out like how you are right now. If you got a team, they can take care of all the videos for you. Sam has done that multiple times where he got people who upload videos for him on his channel and don't have to do shit.
That sounds so nice, man. I wish I had
Yeah,
that.
he just collect the check off that. You feel me? Like, if you want to get into that type of category, I feel like Digimon is still in a very infantile type of state, believe it or not, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I feel like that is because we haven't seen any breakout channel really get super successful off of Digimon yet, because we don't have like people who has editors like Team Sam or Team APS or and stuff like that or whatever, right? We don't have people who's like doing big collaboration projects amongst each other like we just did tonight or whatever, right? Like, there's so much room for growth that's out there that we just don't do, right? We get into our little bubble of content creating, and then that's it, right? Like, for a little while, it was just deck profile video matches, deck profile matches, deck profile matches, right? And that's fine, but like you said, you want variety. That's like saying this: you wake up today, go into the kitchen, there's chicken on the stove. You eat the chicken, come back home, there's more chicken. You want to eat that chicken? Of course not. You want to eat something different. You might want ham. You might want fucking bacon. Shit, you might want a salad. Who the fuck knows? But the point is that you got variety. You got choices. You can choose what you want. You're not forced to always have to pick the same thing over and over again. So I feel like in terms of content creating, Digimon is definitely in a very, very infantile type of state where the only thing people are really pumping out right now is just deck profiles and matches. Yeah. There's a lot of room for creativity and a lot of room new video ideas that people can do. We're just not doing it.
Yeah, which is why I started watching Yu-Gi-Oh, to be honest. Because like you mentioned, like I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh again, and to see these content creators like Team APS, Team Samurai, that guy, that dude, I know he's almost like at what, 1 million, right? Like you said. Yeah. Dude, and their videos, they're so good. Like editing wise, I'm assuming they have editors, but just types of videos they're putting out, it's like, damn, these are good quality videos, you know? And like, I know Digimon's not like that.
High quality. None of our videos come close to that.
I think like Avolt's the closest, but even then,
yeah.
Like Sam is just next level, you know, with it. So
yeah, I mean, like he even gave all his content information editor to Jesse, and Jesse uses the exact same editor.
Yeah, I saw Cotton's videos. He's really good. His videos are pretty I mean, like 40-50 minute videos, and I watch them like from start to finish. I don't even play Yu-Gi-Oh, so
no, I still play Yu-Gi-Oh as a side thing, but still, like the point being is that if we was to elevate our video content, regardless of if you like the content or not, because it's just so high quality, some people will just stick around because it captivates the audience, right? I'm not necessarily just focused on the content. I'm also engaged with what I'm viewing. Like you got my attention. I'm gonna sit here for this 50 minutes and watch this video now because you got me. I'm hooked, right? It's like committing to a movie or a TV show.
Yeah, I think it's about money too also, because I mean, you have to pay for an editor, and like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh is a big card game, and they're getting like 50K to like 100K views, so I don't even know how much money they're getting per video, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot. In terms of Digimon, would I pay for someone to edit my videos? No, like I make like maybe $3 max $7 per video, you know. Like I'm not gonna pay $50 for someone to edit it real nice for it to get like that amount of views.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from so another thing that I'm extremely passionate about is fighting games, right?
Yeah.
And I've been in the fighting game community since before I could even spell my name. I love fighting games. And a lot of the people that are in the fighting game content creating space are pro players that has recently started their own channels to really help you deep dive in their minds of what it's like to be a pro player and stuff like that. So I feel that for us to bridge that gap, you got to use the stuff that you got from your hobby to support your hobby, if that makes sense, until it can become a business. So like Yu-Gi-Oh players, it's easy to flip cards in their game and then make it into money because there's some really expensive cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Digimon does have expensive cards, but it's hard to move them all the time because the game isn't as popular. So you end up sitting on cards, and then sometimes that stuff loses value. So it's harder to flip that stuff and then make it into money and then use that to produce stuff that you want to do. So like, say for instance, I said, okay, I'm going to quit my job and I want to create content permanently on YouTube, right? My options of content creating could be vastless. I can go into video essays where I talk about certain topics or TV shows, movies, video games, whatever. I can go into card games because I'm extremely passionate about that, right? Like I can talk all day about card games, strategies, combos, things to look out for in the meta, right? Like not just decks and matches. I can give you videos on me going to locals or me going to Target and try to pull packs and see what I get, or I introduce my friend to the card game. Like there's a lot of things that you can do. It's just how much are you willing to commit to it to make that happen is the real question. Because looking at the fighting game thing, which is why I brought it, there was a guy that I used to follow. Well, not used to. There's a guy I follow named Brian F. He started off as a dude who didn't used to get a lot of results, so he didn't have a lot of viewers. But then by him going to fighting game tournaments and performing really well, people started checking out his YouTube channel. And then now he's an established content creator with an established Twitch channel that he's making good money. Like he could literally quit his job. He doesn't, but he could quit his job and solely get paid off of YouTube with the money that he's making. So like I said, it just really just comes down to like, how much are you willing to invest in it, or how popular is your thing where you can flip it and turn it into income for something else.
Yeah.
I guess I got a question for you though, Tate. What do you think was like one of the things that really helped push your to get the viewership that you got from Digimon?
It was finding your niche, basically. Your niche. I don't know how you pronounce it because people always say I say it wrong.
Niche.
Yeah, it was basically finding your niche. And for me, that was the video essays. It was kind of like that analysis type of like talking video instead of like gameplay or deck profiles. I do those, and then I still did them after I started doing the video essays. But the stuff that really blew up the channel and like still gets the most views are those essays. Because like I thought like, well, first of all, because I like those type of videos, that's what I like to watch. So I was like, I like to watch this. I want to make what I would want to watch. And then it's like no one else is really making this for Digimon, because at the time the game was like so new, right? So like no one else is doing this. I like this, so I started doing that, and like it filled a niche that no one else is really doing in Digimon. So I feel like finding that unique thing, that's what made the channel blow up.
Yep. And now DigiPanda is doing that, right? And his channel, his channel is definitely seeing a ton of success. I found his channel back when he had 10 subscribers. Dang, now he's sitting at like Yeah, now he's sitting at like 4,000 or something like that, right?
I think it's like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
he's pretty big.
That's what I'm saying. And he's doing official podcasting for Digimon tournaments. Like he just did Nats with the whole couch with all of the rest of them, like True Champion and Digipanda and a couple other guys, all sitting around doing commentary on Digimon. Right? Mm-hmm. That could have been any one of us, right? But the point that I'm making here is that there's a lot of room for creativity in Digimon. You just gotta want to try to branch out and try new things and just see what sticks. Because, you know, content creating, it can make or break people, right? It really just comes down to how quickly you can find your audience and how diverse that audience is. Like, can it grow, right? Because sometimes you get a certain audience and then that's all the audience you got. And it won't never get bigger. It won't never get. That's just your audience. Mm-hmm. And whatever that is whatever that is. Some people find an audience and it grows beyond their imagination. And then you end up becoming a channel like RDC, right? They started off, I want to say back in like 2018, 2017 or something like that, and made a video about when people take anime too seriously. And now they got a whole anime convention. They got merchandise. They got videos, it's like actual movies and stuff.
RDC World?
Yeah.
They started in 2017? No way, man.
No, I mean, like, that was their first like video that really blew them up. It was the when people take anime too seriously.
Yeah, but I mean, they have a whole team, like a whole, like a soccer team. You know, like
each one does something.
Yeah.
Does something differently for the team. But the point that I'm making here is you got friends, right? You got friends who play the game too. Why not reach out to them, see if you wanted to do projects together?
Nobody wants to, man. Well, I mean, I've only asked people that live close to me, but I've asked people like, hey, do you want to commentate on some of these videos? And they're like, I'm too shy. Like, come on.
You never asked me.
I'll send you the Google Drive right now.
But that's it. You forget, man. I've been supporting. I've known you since we started going to the same locals and everything, man. You'd be surprised. I help Zuki with content all the time. Whenever like he wants to bounce feedback and stuff like that. It's like don't ever feel bad about asking.
Security loss of peace.
Okay.
You can always do a bunch of different ideas for what you want to do for content. Like that's the whole point that we're all getting at. It's like, yeah, it may feel like it's kind of dry, but it's like, what's the worst from happening from just trying to get out of your box and just see what you can do? Like, if you want ideas for how to experiment with Digimon content creation in different formats, I'd love to talk to you about it. It's like, you'd be surprised. Just talk to people, and you never know what ideas can come up from a fresh point of view.
Prime example, right? Before tonight, I've talked to Taste a grand total of like maybe 5 times. First time was in person when I saw him at local at Top Cut, and I saw his name as one of the players that was playing at the Digi Local. So I was like, wait, are you actually the guy? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, damn, this is a small ass world. I didn't know that this video a Digi was in Chicago. That's crazy, right? And then after that, I saw him come up there playing at Beyblades. So one of the Beyblades tournaments, I just asked him, I was like, hey man, I got this idea for a video I want to do. Would you want to be in it? He said, yeah, sure. Just shoot me a time. I'm cool with it. You just don't know what's going to happen unless you ask.
Yeah, I mean, Taste, I didn't even know you were in Chicago. I think,
dude, that's how I found out who he was, man.
I think Zuki told me like the last time he was at local, he was like, hey, I know Taste of Victory. I'm like, wait, what? In Chicago?
Can we actually edit that out?
Yeah.
No, but it's all good. Yeah, a lot of people don't know. I don't really
in my defense, you did say I found out you were in Chicago, Eric, because you said the locals you go at, and I'm like, oh, I know where that's at.
Yeah.
And then I found out who you were through. Like, Zuki was telling me like, oh yeah, he was in a Beyblade tournament. I'm like, what? I think it's double take.
Is there no Digimon at Top Cut anymore? Is that because
that died? It died.
Yeah, but like it's possible to come bring back. So it's never say never. If there's interest, they can always come back.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's on the table if we can show him that there is an actual audience. the prime example was like there was a locals called GG's, and they tried to host Digimon during like BT1 all the way up to BT4. Ghost town. Nobody showed up, right? So they dropped it like a heart attack. Josh was trying to fill in the void for Wednesday locals because there was no locals for Wednesday because quality had moved out to the middle of nowhere and nobody could get out there. So we needed something in Chicago. So he reached out to them and was like, hey, if I was to bring 10 plus players to play at your locals for Digimon, would you host us? They said, if you can bring them, yeah, we'll host them. And then the rest is history. Now they're an official tournament on the app. They host pre-releases. They do they sell sets of Digimon. So, you know, it's the community is there. The power is there. You just gotta talk to the people, man. Talk to the people. Get them engaged. Get them to want to do the shit. Like if you went to Nats this for Digimon this in January, Team APS was up there and they was like, oh yeah, no, we play Digimon too. We love that shit. That shit is fun as hell. You know, it's not our main card game. You know, we definitely play it, right? If you guys, some of them was like, hey, if you want to do collaborations and stuff like that, reach out to us. You know how mad I was that I missed the opportunity to ask them for something like that?
Yeah.
I'd love to got Alex from fucking Team APS to do a video together and be like, so, oh, this is dope. Run a 1st to 5 with him in Digimon or some shit. That would have been cool as hell. Or like doing stuff that they do in Sam videos where they do like that wheel and they gotta play whatever fucking decks that they get or whatever. Like again, there's just so much stuff that we can do that we just don't do in this community.
It's a lot of experiments. At the end of the day, man, you got this.
You guys talking to me? Like I feel like you guys are like.
No,
hey,
I was just talking in general.
I need you to make something else other than matches.
No, bro. We were saying if you're burning out on just doing that one form of content, there is a lot of other avenues you can go dig into. Like Taste was saying, he does the commentary and he talks about like, hey, did you know this about Digimon? Or did you know this about the card game? Like one of the first videos that I found to his was the one where he did a Mirai as a short. Where he was like, Mira as a five cost is the first in Digimon history for this and this and this reason. I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting, right? And boom, he got a viewer out of me, right? Just by making something that was interesting, short, quick, and straight to the point.
Yeah. But like I said, I think I'm gonna watch more Yu-Gi-Oh content because I think they have a lot of creativity over there. Honestly, like you said, you know,
just borrow ideas from them and then try to implement it in your own style.
Yeah.
I was talking about, I was like, in March, you know, I'm gonna upload some Yu-Gi-Oh videos, see how it goes, but I doubt it. I don't think people like when you do that on channels.
Nah. Because on my main channel, I got like almost 3,000 subscribers, but they're there for video games. So when I tried to upload card games, they would go to the comment section and be like, what the fuck is this? So I was just like, okay, I would just make a new channel for card games. Card games. And then it slowly became just all Digimon. Because like that was the one that people were interacting with, commenting on, talking with, getting the most viewership from. I was trying to do like 3 different card games a week. So it'd be like Marvel Snap, what is it? It was Marvel Snap, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon, and then like some other random online TCG like Legends of Runeterra or Gwent. But I noticed nobody was interacting with all those other videos, right? So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna just focus on Digimon, and then that's when the numbers started going up. So then I was like, all right, cool. The deck profiles and the matches are cool, but now it's stagnating. How do I improve it? Well, I like talking, obviously, right? Maybe I can talk with other content creators in the same space, see their opinions on certain things that's upcoming for the game that they're playing, and, you know, kind of get different type of content out there to really help boost my own thing for creativity and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely more quiet compared to you. That's for sure. I don't like talking like that. But it's good, you know. I mean, that's a good skill to have.
It's a mixed bag because like people are always concerned about what I have to say versus I feel like I put myself into this into the situation where like I'm friends and associates with a lot of different people, and then people feel like they can't directly talk to me for some reason. Like they always go to somebody else to ask me a question instead of just coming directly to me and saying, hey, I have a question for you, specifically for you, to ask you this question. They ask like a friend of a friend, or they ask my girlfriend, or they ask somebody else, but they never come directly to me. And I don't know why that it is. I don't know if I did something that made it feel like they couldn't come to me directly or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag with that.
I'm not sure why. I don't have answers.
Did you guys have any final thoughts before we close it?
No, I think we covered a lot of it. I think Digimon still has a lot of way to go, and I just want, after Unification, I think the sky is definitely the limit with what they want to make, and I'm really excited about it. I just wish, and I think it's up to the players base as well, is the player base is what kept the Digimon card game alive despite Bandai abandoning it, despite the surge of One Piece. But it's going to take the player base to kind of still keep it in line and to help keep the game in check.
I agree with that sentiment 100%. I think Digimon is definitely in a position of growth. There's a lot of things that we can explore as a community as a whole to really elevate the content, the overall appeal of the game. I felt like one of the persons who really showed that Yu-Gi-Oh could be at a higher level in terms of like content viewing was this guy named I think it was Ruggles. He was he was a Canadian YouTuber, right?
The buff dude? Well, he was like ripped. Yeah. He's like fit.
He came out of nowhere with the Yugi scene and then brought out an entirely new format of content that just gave a giant boom to his channel.
Wait, isn't that the guy that introduced Mario's Gaming World? Right? They're friends.
Yeah.
They know each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He taught him
lore.
You don't know that? Mario always brags like, yeah, I don't know.
He taught him how to do video content creation because before that he was just a store owner.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that right there, that was a lore for me because I did not know that.
Mario was so awkward at first, man.
Did you not watch Ruggles' videos? Mario's in there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, bro. Like, look, I remember Ruggles for doing two things. One, elevating card game. Yes, but one, elevating the card game space because before we used to record everything on shitty ass cameras and have terrible mics, terrible recording equipment. It was garbage. It was not a good viewing experience. We were only there for two reasons. One, we wanted to know more about the deck, and then two, we really only cared about the deck. There was no other reason for you to be in the video because they were so shitty. And then he bought a really expensive camera and put Yu-Gi-Oh on these like little displays, so they turn it around like what a vault does, where he like does the little display thing where he turns the fucking card in the whole three. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and then he would talk about like, hey, I'm a dude who used to play Yu-Gi-Oh and I wasn't really that deep into it, but I really want to get more invested into it. So here's what I'm gonna do, right? Like it felt like you were going on a journey with the guy, and it really brought in non-Yu-Gi-Oh players into watching his channel because they were interested in his journey as a content creator. Not so much the thing that he was doing, but more of him as a content creator. Why should I invest my time out of my day to watch your videos? Because I'm invested in your journey. I'm invested in what you're doing. I'm invested in seeing what new activities or new hobbies or new friends or new things that you're doing, because I like your content. And after he showed that, everybody else in the Yu-Gi-Oh community upgraded, right? Sam upgraded, fucking Team APS upgraded. All of them give Ruggles his flowers all the time, even though a lot of people who are currently in the Yu-Gi-Oh community don't even know who the fuck that guy is. If I bring him up, only people who were like playing back in like 2010 or older formats knew who that guy was. But there's a lot of the video styles that we have today and the quality of how they're shot and how they sound and everything else is thanks to him just saying, yeah, y'all videos are shit. This shit looks ugly. Like, it sounds terrible. And he just upgraded the quality. And people was like, okay, we got to follow suit. Let's do the same thing. And now they're sitting at, hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
It's because he was getting hella views. That's why people switched over to that style.
Exactly.
I still remember the quality, and that was like, I think it was 2017, 2016, because he was still around that time, because he introduced Mario around the same time, and Mario was so awkward in the camera when he first introduced him. He wanted to hide from the camera, but eventually he got used to it. But yeah, I was like, I remember Mario got introduced because of Ruggles, and Ruggles, just the quality of his videos is so damn nice for Yu-Gi-Oh. But he got a lot of views because of that, and I think everybody just like stole or borrowed off that, and now everyone at Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of the same way.
Yeah, I mean,
the big content creators.
Nobody's gonna be like, "Oh my god, you stole my idea." Like, that's not an idea. Just improve your quality of the video. People don't want to watch it.
It's borrowing.
I said, okay. Again, it's not really stealing. It's just said he made an obvious observation. Yeah. The quality of videos that we were producing at the time were just shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in that niche community are going to watch it because we watch it because we want the information. Whereas if I was a regular person going down my feed and I see your video on the recommended, what is going to entice me as a regular viewer to want to click on that video and watch it, right? If you go to the video comment sections of most of those people, there's a lot of people, like hundreds of people, who go there and say, I don't play this game, but I love watching your videos because they are so entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can get people to watch your videos that are not in the community. You just have to make the quality that damn good where I will invest time out of my day to watch it. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I don't got the editing skills, nor do I have any other background to be able to make that type of stuff happen. But once a homie get his money right, I'm definitely going to invest in doing that type of stuff and see what happens. I mean, it's worth seeing.
Nice.
With that being said, I do have an idea for my next video. I don't know if you guys want to join in it. I was thinking about doing like a restriction list or a ban list prediction.
Ooh, that sounds
for next time if you guys are down.
That sounds like Taste is like Elliot, to be honest. That's his video essay galore.
No, you could just upload like an unscripted reaction like that. This is why I think this is getting banned.
Yeah,
I've done some of those unscripted,
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you right now, Ruin Mode definitely got to get hit. There's no universe or time.
No.
There's no universe or dimension where that card is healthy and balanced.
Hit Marcus. BT13 Marcus. That's
you're just a hater.
I am hating that hater. I hate that card.
Bro, I'm like, there's no dimension, time, zone, or universe where Ruin Mode is healthy and balanced for the game.
I just need Mirage and I'll be happy. And obviously Purple Hate. That's on me.
Sebastian, you are a troll from this in these comments like this, by the way. But you did used to make some fire ass thumbnails for Marvel Snap. That I definitely wanted to just mention that one. You did make some really fire ass thumbnails.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun if we think about the cards we want to get hit, and then we come back on Discord, and then someone can pull up like DigimonCard.dev, maybe DigimonCard.dev. Like, just that's what I'm thinking, simple. But we can come up with a different idea. Like I said, I hate Marcus. I would hit Marcus just for the spite, But I think that would make for some good content.
Yeah, for sure.
Just tell me you don't like Shine Greymon. It's all right.
I don't, man. I lost to it yesterday in the LT Cup. I was like, how do this like from
I'm telling you,
BT13?
it's good. As the number one Shine Greymon player, okay, Stan. It's a good deck.
But
even now,
and you know what? You know what? I'm not gonna lie, because Taste was talking about how the memory gauge is being abused. All they do is sit there with their 4 trainings, their 4 boosts, their 2 scrambles, and then like, all right, let me come out of raising. I'm about to go for 5 checks.
I know. Here right now, I'm playing the world's smallest violin.
Yeah.
Shake my hand. Did I not earn this one? Shake my hand.
All right. I think we're going too much on tangent now too.
No. I mean, it's a fun idea. Just shoot me a time, and when you want to do that, and I'm completely open. I'm mainly free on the weekends though.
Yeah, same. I think Sunday night would be perfect for me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if it's something around this time, I'm good with that too.
All right. Phantom, you in?
I'm down.
Taste?
I haven't been playing enough to give accurate predictions. I would just be standing there.
I mean,
what are we going to get you back in the game? We gotta train you back up.
Yeah, I need to start playing when 2.5 drops. I need to play more. I don't know enough to say what should be banned right now.
You trying to play on the sim?
Not right now. Is it even updated?
Yeah, not right now. I mean, it's on EX8.
Oh, finally. Okay. Yeah,
it's a little buggy still, I think.
It is a little buggy.
I tried messing around with
it's fan made though, bro. Like,
what
do we expect? You know
it's
what I mean?
free, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Can't complain with a regular dude with a group of friends putting some back-breaking work to make a game.
Yeah.
To make a game work, you know. Hey, yo, shout out to 1-0 though. You the real one. Because without that sim, we'll still be on TTS talking about.
Oh man, I hate tabletops.
That shit was such a slots, man. Or we'll be on Drazel. Drazel isn't bad, but damn, that motherfucker's laggy too, bro. And oh my god, the cards that you generate each of your turn is so inaccurate. Oh my god, bro! Like there's so many times you draw 3 of a card. I'm like, I played Digimon for years.
Wait, what? That doesn't happen to me.
It is so rare for me to bump into 3 cards ever. But on that sim, that shit happens like fucking clockwork, bro. I hate that sim to my core, not because of the sim, but because of how they go about doing their hands. That shit is so not accurate. I do not feel like I'm testing at all, brother. At all.
I love Drazel. I love Project Drazel. That's like my number one. I don't go to DCGO because I hate being locked into like, oh, if I let go of the card, if I hit the button, I was like, that's it. You locked into that play, and that's it. Like, all right, I'm screwed.
Low key. That, and you can't ask your opponent about certain effects.
Yeah.
Because I ain't gonna lie, there'd be so many times where somebody would do something, and I was like, if he would have just asked, I could have told him, but I can't tell you what's gonna happen. So you gotta read. Motherfuckers do not be read. Motherfuckers be activating motherfucking options to pop a card and it's immune to destruction for the turn. And they're like, what the fuck? Why is it not deleted? And then they just surrender right afterward.
Yeah, I remember the tabletop simulator, man. That was like, ooh, nostalgia.
Yeah. Honestly, looking back on it, I think closes are the way to go. Closes? What are you talking about, Sebastian? Yeah.
Maybe he's talking about Pyramidimon close. I don't know.
Yeah. But I don't want to hold you guys up too much longer. I know you guys pretty much sacked your Super Bowl Sunday to hang out and talk shop about Digimon and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. But I got enough for you guys. If y'all don't have anything else, I won't hold you up too much longer. But I've had a lot of fun. I would look forward to doing something like this again with you guys if you ever want to do anything. My DMs are open.
Thank you for the invite.
Of course.
Bet. A great time.
Yeah, thanks for having
me. I tried to invite the homie Zeke, but he flaked on me. I felt some type of way about that one, but it's all good. I was showing the video later and be like, I told you the homies. But yeah, it's
he's one of the guys who he hosts Nerd Rage.
Yeah, he hosts tournaments at one of the more popular card shops. I wanted to invite him so we can get like a round table of ideas from different perspectives. Like Hugo is just a card game player at this point, right? And then you're a content creator, and so is Taste. And then me and Hugo both go to like the bigger events like Nats and regionals and stuff like that. So whatever. So like getting all of our opinions would have been really, really cool because Zeke not only hosts tournaments, but he also create events in Digimon and really get a big engagement going into his shop. And then also go and compete at like high levels. Like he goes to multiple different regionals from like Texas, Arkansas, Kentucky, all that stuff. He just flies out there and go compete. And if you see that dude's trade binder, he has multiple chase cards.
He has a maxed out Vmon deck that shut up Mario because Mario made a statement like never max rarity this deck, and it's like, are you sure about that?
Yeah. And you know what's also super funny? He has the winner cards for Digimons. So like, you remember that Omnimon? The one that we got for the ever Digimon World? He has that in his binder. Yeah, I don't know how he has that, but he has that. He has the trophy cards, the Alphamon line. He has that in his book too. And now he got the trophies for all the Vmons too, for the Vidramon, for Vmon, Vidramon, Arrow Vidramon, and then Oforce. He has all of them in there. He got the Susanomon in there for notes. I was like, bro, where the fuck do you get these cards from? You just work at a card shop. But yeah, he that's why I thought it'd been interesting to have him at the discussion, but he flaked on me.
Next time.
Next time. All right, you see your closer then.
Yeah, it's your closer. Well, what do you got, Zuki?
Alrighty. Well, for those of you guys who haven't already, please make sure to check out these fine gentlemen's channel. We got Mr. J Strategy Play. You can find them on both Twitch and YouTube. We have Taste of Victory. You can, I don't know if they got a Twitch. I know for a fact they got a YouTube, obviously.
I don't stream on Twitch.
Okay, yeah. So you could just find them on YouTube at Taste of Victory. They got some pretty interesting Digimon videos. They talk about the game instead of just showcasing the gameplay, stuff like that. Very, very thought-provoking content. And then we got Phantom Blur.
I know I'm a Digimon player, but I'm also a Beyblade content creator and a TO.
Yeah, they got a TikTok. You can find them at Phantom Blur. They typically promote most of their Beyblade tournaments. So if you guys are somebody who nostalgic, hungry, and just wants to go spend some tops, you can check out his TikTok. It's full of my videos of me playing with Dronker.
Don't worry, I'll explore Digimon content soon enough, but I'm having too much fun with Beyblade. Taste can confirm with that.
Yeah, Beyblade's awesome.
Beyblade is awesome. I will attest. That shit is pretty gas. There was a couple times where they was like, bro, you should make content around it. I was like, bro, I would have to make a whole nother channel to get that started. I'm not doing that. This is just a hobby, strictly just a hobby that is fun to play at times. But yeah. Alrighty, guys. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to check out these guys around here and make sure to check out their channels, show some support, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.
Bye.
Bye, guys.